Welcome back to RBP. I am Ross Bolen, joined by the only other full-time employee here at Bolen Media, Jared Borislow, J-Bone, Bone Man. What's good?
I'm doing good. I will be doing better after this recording. I'm going to ride our Peloton, hashtag RossFit. I'll be wearing my 10,000 shorts. It's going to be great.
You going to get the miles in for the mentals?
Mm-hmm. Ooh, miles for men. I think I do like 8 miles during a Peloton ride.
Miles for the mentals, dude. Got another fun episode of the Ross Bolen podcast planned for you today. No, the Kanye album has not dropped. But let's start somewhere semi-serious, shall we? It's hilarious to me. Maybe not so much to some. Let's find out. This morning, I was watching a video online about how humans, me, you, all of us, and our ancestors for hundreds of years, just pumping gas into everything that we can and burning everything in sight, throwing trash all over the goddamn place, have disrespected the shit out of this planet, doing irreversible damage that will almost certainly cause our grandchildren or their children to live like Mad Max in a post-apocalyptic hell. And it occurred to me just how hilarious science deniers, people who say they don't believe in climate change, global warming, whatever you want to call it, that they don't believe humans can impact the earth the way we have, that COVID isn't real and masks and all this are just a bullshit way for the government to control us. Like, who are you? Seriously, who are you? Like, you haven't studied a science book since the 12th grade. What the fuck do you know compared to people who have dedicated their entire lives to this? And I'm in this boat with you as an ignorant jackass who should not. That's why I don't sit here and try to argue one way or the other, because like, it's just listen to the science people. Like, because the science people, not the celebrities, not McConaughey, not fucking Matt Damon or whoever.
Matt Damon.
Not Liz Lemon. Like, that's not who's in charge of stuff like this.
Well, see, now these kind of people, I believe that they think they possess a certain set of skills, which are to find bullshit and know how to point it out. That's what they think that they're up to.
But, like, the whole world is just filled with chock full of bullshit. Everybody knows that, though. We're good, but, like, how crazy do you have to be to think that you, Steve Common shit, are the most equipped person on earth to determine whether or not an international pandemic is to be taken seriously, or is it just a hoax by the elite to microchip and enslave us? Like,
well, what if he's watched like thousands of hours of QAnon? Because then he might be pretty.
It's just at the end of the day, it's like, which is more likely? The U.S. government wants to keep as many of its citizens alive and well so they can continue to tax the shit out of us and enroll us in their militaries to maintain a superpower, dictating how much and what goes on in the world as it spins off its axis.
And the petrodollar.
Or they want to microchip you, Steve Common shit, like you're somehow important enough for anyone to keep track of. Like, anybody gives a fuck.
Yeah, there's like, what, 350 million Americans? Like, nobody cares about you. Nobody's going to spend, like, more than a second of their day even recogning you. No, and that's going to be like the subway person in line when they're pissed at you and they're spitting in your food.
It's the same paranoia of like, oh, the NSA is tracking all of us. Like, oh, they've got all of our data. Who the fuck? Who? You? What are they? You? That's what they've been waiting for, to get all your data. Because it's so invaluable.
Yeah.
Your fucking Google searches are going to be the thing that cracks the code for the government to control all of us. Like, just get a grip, people.
The only people I think I will allow to say this and not think they're a hypocrite are people who live off the grid, right? Because if you're going on Facebook on your Android phone or your iPhone,
then you're done.
And you're Googling some of these things, it's like, they have all of your information already.
Like, it's over.
The microchip does nothing. They actually know where you are right now, and they have a bunch of cameras on you. You know?
Yeah, the microchip that we got in us now is just for funsies. All that other shit you're worried about, like, we lost those battles long ago.
Also, that has to be a really microchip. Like, more of a microchip than I'm familiar with, if they can inject it into me. Also, where does it go? Is it in my penis?
Get random. Yeah, it swims from your arm down to your sex organs. That's what I was told. And it waits patiently at the tip of your penis for just the right moment to spring forth.
So I'm
attack.
I'm a microchip cannon right now. And I'm about to blow.
The old cock monster. But yeah, Steve, common shit. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, your own wife doesn't know or care where you are, Mr. Common Shit. I should know. My wife left me. But you think you, internet bad boy of southeastern Ohio, are the ones solving all this and realizing the president, the government, all the doctors and scientists, and every other world leader, and every doctor and scientist in other countries are in an elaborate scheme so Bill Gates can control your mind. Control your mind? Yeah, that's what the world is after. That's what it's all about.
Is there a reason you picked southeastern Ohio?
Control of your feeble mind, stove. Help yourself to a goddamn science book because you're sounding like a goddamn moron. And stop calling it a jab. It's a civilization-saving miracle of science. We have the worst messaging with everything that we do right now. Our government sucks at it. Like, I think I've found the problem, Jared. It's that we need more competent leadership. Oh my God. That's been it all along. You're welcome.
You solved it.
You're welcome. But yeah, Steve, get it together. It's not all about you.
I feel like a lot of people who like are, not getting the vaccine for reasons that aren't like what many would consider legitimate
or logical.
They're just trying to find a reason why they don't have to get it. Like, they already aren't going to get it because they don't feel like it.
I mean,
but then they have to try to find some sort of reason that they can explain to other people, which actually then makes them seem more crazy than if they were just like, I don't want to get it. I don't like needles or something,
I don't like needles. I hate needles. I didn't want to get it. I didn't want to. It's not about that. It's like there's a pandemic that keeps jacking up society. We have several vaccines to pick from that solve that problem long term. Please go and help yourself to one.
Yeah.
They're cost-free.
Ross just wants to get back to normalcy so we can go see a DaBaby concert, right?
Well, we're going to lose ACL. It's going to get canceled. I'm not going to get to go to DaBaby and throw the F-bomb around with everybody. Just be a raging homophobe.
By the way, you know that DaBaby got removed, right, from ACL?
He got removed from everything.
Did you see who they replaced him with?
No.
Tyler.
The creator?
Yes.
You're going to have to pause the show so I can masturbate. Are you serious? That's a huge, huge win on every possible front.
I know. You made my earthquake.
Also, semi-ironic, because the only reason it's okay now that Tyler used a ton of homophobic diction during his first couple albums is because he's, what's the word? Because I don't think he's gay. He's just like, he's like Prince now. He has no sexuality. He just is sex. At some point you transcend that. There's no gay or straight, man or woman. You're just Tyler, the creator. He's just out there creating sex with all manner of people, it turns out. It turns out he tried to fuck Bieber.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where'd you find that out?
In a Tyler, the Creator song.
But yeah, are you more excited for ACL now that they replaced?
Oh, much more excited, and I'm going to be that much more pissed off when it gets canceled because common sense is lacking in the world in 2021. And it just, dude, look, everybody's bummed. That's the thing. I feel like there's some people who are like, God, I'm so angry. And it's like, we all are. This is a huge bummer for everybody collectively. Like, your individual circumstances don't change how angry you get to be. You get to be just as angry as the rest of us, and you don't get to take it out on anybody else, and you don't get to act illogically as a result. And I think one of the things I've noticed, Jared, one of my biggest takeaways from the last couple months of watching things unfold, going from excited that like society was reopening to being like, oh shit, I think we may have done this a little bit too, and then being like, oh great, we did do it too soon. For some people, for a lot of people really, that are struggling on the side of it that some of us see as illogical or stupid, and I really don't see it that way anymore. Big picture, I don't. I know I'm making jokes and being a dick about it, but I really don't feel that way. The way I feel is this. some people were already in a tough spot, I think, pre-pandemic, where the way things were going in the world were already very scary for them, to the point that it was a little traumatizing even. Disassociative even. And there's only so much all of us can handle, right? At some point, if you have enough really bad shit going on, boy, you kind of go to another plane. You don't just stay all the way present all the time. It's too painful and stressful and crazy and anxiety producing. And I think for a lot of people, when the pandy hit, when COVID became real, like that was the line for them. And it's easier to say like, this is all bullshit and like, you don't have to get a vaccine or the vaccine is fake or this is all just the government trying to control. It's like, that's easier than accepting the reality of we are in a crazy dangerous circumstance and probably the most dangerous point to live on this planet in my lifetime. That's a hard thing for people to accept, for human beings to accept. And I understand that too. It's hard for me to accept, man. It's hard. So we have to have sympathy for each other too and empathy for each other. And that part is also a challenge. And like, if you're one of the people that gets worked up every day and really angry because of all the morons who won't wear masks or get vaccinated or whatever, like you have to realize you're contributing to the problem with your anger as well. And it's a lack of connection there and understanding where these other people are coming from and that not everybody is as smart as you or as lucky as you to have been in the circumstances that you are so that they know everything that you know or have read all the books that you read or had the parents that you did or whatever the fuck your circumstances are to put you in a position to understand in a way that maybe they don't.
I will go so far as to say that if you retweet or post your Instagram story something saying that people need to get vaccinated or wear a mask and that the tone of that tweet or Instagram story is really mean, you're causing more harm than
You're
good.
part of the problem.
You are part
if
of
you're
the problem.
being condescending, you're part of the problem. If you're attacking people, you're part of the problem.
Hey Ross, you're a killer and a murderer unless you wear a mask.
And it's like, oh God, go fuck yourself. I'm really not wearing a mask now. It's like the same thing with when my parents told me not to smoke cigarettes and my school told me not to smoke cigarettes and the priest told me not to smoke cigarettes and the TV told me not to smoke cigarettes. And eventually I was like, fuck all of you. I'm ripping heaters. Like there's a level to this. It's like reverse psychology.
Yes.
Like, and for all the holier than thou smart people out there, figure it the fuck out. Like, start to play the game, right? If you want to get something done, you better figure out the buttons to push to make it happen. And if you're pushing a button over and over and it's not working, that's not the correct button. Move on to the next button. What the fuck?
I see so many people like posting these awful memes and like whatever.
Oh, we get it. You're a fucking genius.
Yeah, hey.
Look at you. You're a genius, dude. You went and got the shot that the doctors and scientists told you to go get. You're a fucking genius. You're not helping by being right.
I understand people. Like, I can get it if you go, I don't trust the government anymore. They keep lying to us. They said the vaccine was perfect. And they didn't say that. But, like, people who don't trust, they said you don't need to wear masks. And they said we did. Like,
we already knew the government was morons.
Exactly. I get people who don't trust the government. I don't really get people who don't trust the science. The scientists aren't out there being like, oh, man, I really want Joe Biden to get a second term. I'm going to say all this shit. Like, they're scientists.
It's legitimately this simple. If you are in a city or a place that is developed enough to have decent medical community, which is a lot of Americans, you go to your doctor and you say, hey, do I need to get this vaccine? 98% of the time, probably right now in America, they're going to go, yeah, you need to get the vaccine. And then you go do it. That's how medicine and science work in this country pre-internet.
Yep.
You go to the doctor. They go, hey, you need these shots. And you go, okay, I'm an everyday jackass. I'm going to listen to you because you're a doctor. And then that's it. Now, I realize that hasn't worked for every single person ever, but statistically, it has saved millions and millions and millions and millions and billions of lives.
Another example of that is hydroxychloroquine, right? When we didn't have a vaccine and they're just looking for these like widely producible remedies that can like help people out, everybody's like, oh, hydroxychloroquine might work. And all the doctors are like, yeah, like right now, honestly, like that's probably your best bet. And then they found out it didn't work. And then the doctors stopped telling people to do it because they realized it didn't work. Like,
in fact, they were like, stop, don't do that.
This is an ongoing process. And they also said, don't eat fucking fish pool tank cleaner, which is also hydroxychloroquine, but a different type that kills you and it killed people.
Jesus.
And people injected themselves with bleach or whatever, I guess.
I mean, yeah, it's always an ongoing process.
Yeah.
Trying to run a society of hundreds of millions of people and then worldwide at billions and billions of people is very complicated.
And it turns out, these millions and millions of people create a lot of sewage.
It does, which we're going to need to handle. It also turns out that, again, the most of the idiots we've elected that we now know, most of us realize, like, oh, these guys are assholes. And the women, too, unfortunately. A lot of them. They, many, many assholes on both sides. They're not doing a great job, right? So, like, of course, there's going to be hiccups in the process of trying to solve perhaps the most complicated issue of our time.
I would say it is the most complicated
like,
issue.
Like, of course, they don't have, like, I'm bitching about the messaging, and that part I think they would do a better job at. But, like, of course it hasn't been a consistent plan of attack, and of course things have been rocky and weird, and of course there's distrust. But, like, at this point, there are a couple simple pieces to the pie here. And if they tell us to do a couple simple things, the least we can do, yes, do your fucking research or whatever, but that certainly shouldn't be on goddamn Google on random, unchecked, and unverified websites. It should be with your doctor or a medical physician, someone smarter than you.
Your Aunt Karen's Facebook page, which she shared a post.
That's the number one place for knowledge, Jared, and everybody knows that. Everyone also knows gut health and your stomach. What you put inside it, all that stuff is tied very heavily to mental health, overall health too, obviously. So let's talk about poop. Yes, P-O-O-P. Poopy. Truth is, we could all probably do poop better. We could be pooping better. Fact. 2 out of 3 Americans live with digestive discomfort, bloating, prolonged fullness, and poop issues. Enter our sponsor, Seed. Seed's DSO1 Daily Symbiotic is the shit. Yes, we do puns. Please clap. Their Daily Symbiotic's proprietary formulation consists of 24 clinically and scientifically studied strains proven to support digestive health, including healthy regularity and ease of bloating, healthy stool hydration, and ease of evacuation.
Hey, Ross, I'll read to you a few of these strains.
Evacuation complete.
Bifidobacterium longum, lactoplantibacillus. You see, the fact that I can't say them, it means they must be amazing.
And again, science, and it also helps with gut ease from occasional gastrointestinal discomfort associated with increased intestinal transit time. Translation, Jared, smooth poops, day in, day out, like clockwork. What is a daily symbiotic? A broad spectrum 2-in-1 probiotic plus prebiotic.
Number 2 in 1, right? Good.
Yeah, it turns out the truth is most of the probiotics you take might not even be getting to where they need to go to be effective. You got to get delivery to the colon, Jared. That's what's important. That's why this proprietary engineered 2-in-1 capsule protects probiotics through digestion to ensure delivery to the colon.
Ross, I'm on Seed, and I'll tell you right now.
Oh, you're on Seed.
They're sliding out.
Damn, you're seeding?
I'm seeding, and Ross, they're sliding out of there.
Right now?
It's like a raft at a water park.
Just a peaceful experience?
Oh, yeah.
God, that's serene.
It is.
Wow. Start a new healthy habit today. Visit seed.com/Ross. Use code Ross to save 20% off your first month. 20% off your first month. That's seed, seed.com/Ross, like the Ross Bolen podcast. Seed.com/Ross. Use the code Ross, 20% off today. Better poops, Jared. Who doesn't want better poops, Jared?
Better poops lead to a better life, which leads to a better world.
Everybody says, happy poops, happy life.
You know what? Was this an intentional segue, Ross, to our insane headline of the day?
Maybe it was. Our first insane headline of the day. We do a segment here called Insane Headline of the Day. We're going to do it now. Insane headline, parentheses, S, in parentheses, of the day. From the USA Today. Los Angeles beaches reopen almost 3 days after 17 million gallons of sewage spill into Santa Monica Bay. A mechanical failure caused untreated sewage to be discharged into the ocean, according to Los Angeles County Supervisor Janice Hahn. The Hyperion plant is both Los Angeles' largest and oldest sewage treatment facility and has been in operation since 1894. So just to be clear, crystal, Jared, this is not only sewage, it is not only 17 million gallons of sewage spilling into Santa Monica Bay, which when you think of Santa Monica Bay, you think of clear, pristine ocean front and rich people
A lot of rich
frolicking
people.
about with their guts out. It's coming from the oldest possible fucking plant.
Mm-hmm.
The oldest poo-poo and pee-pee and human waste available to the greater Los Angeles area.
What do you think the oldest log that got discharged into the ocean is?
You got to think there's one from the 80s just sitting in there still. They're just holding on because they didn't really know a whole lot like that. I feel like the 80s was when industrialization was at its peak point mixed with a lack of nutritional knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
So like the Twinkie was born and shit like that. And people were just, just hossing them down their gullets just left and right.
They were just rolling them in cocaine and then eating them.
Yeah, and that's just ridiculous. Like, wow, you can't live that way.
Turns out
so
you could.
those poops that came from that period are just, while all the others have disintegrated and are long gone, there's some in there from like the 80s, 90s, from those people's stomachs. There's just maybe a couple that were discharged.
What do you think would be in a 90s poop? I'm going to say Dunkaroos would be there. A Lunchables.
Yeah, everybody knows Dunkaroos don't digest.
Mm-hmm.
That's just sits with you forever. If you have one, it's a part of you now.
What's like peak 90s food? Like SpaghettiOs?
Fruit roll-ups?
Those are pretty 90s.
Yeah. Like
Oh, I
Jolly
mean,
Rancher was real
McDonald's.
90s, wasn't it?
McDonald's, I feel like. Oh, Burger King used to be a thing, right? You ever go to Burger King?
No, I hate Burger King. The Southern California beaches, which in total about 4 miles worth, will remain closed until water sample tests come up negative for bacteria. So again, just to be clear, this poo water now in the ocean that like we would vacation to, or that you live by and pay the highest taxes in America for, or whatever, it's just our sewage.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to say the number again. 17 million gallons of sewage pumped out of there because of a mechanical failure into our ocean, Jared.
Yep. So LA, there's sewage in the ocean and then sewage on the shore.
And you want to talk about Burger King.
I bet you there's a lot of Burger King poop in there, I will say. But now, so what's more shitty? The people in LA or the water?
The water, it turns out.
Oh.
Water. Next headline. A former factory worker in Italy has become the fastest growing content creator on TikTok. Which that's the end of the headline, but in my opinion, arguably makes him the fastest growing famous person in the world.
Of all time.
Ever.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm going to read you a piece of the Times piece, okay? In March of 2020, during the early days of the coronavirus pandemic, Cabane Lame, a young factory worker in the northern Italian industrial town of Chivasso, lost his job. And yes, his last name is Lame. He went back to his family's modest apartment, and despite the urging of his Senegalese father to apply for other jobs, he began spending hours each day posting videos to TikTok under the name Cabby Lame, spelled Khaby. Using the social media apps Duet and Stitch features, Mr. Lame, 21, capitalized on the momentum of viral and often absurdly complicated life hack videos, slicing open a banana with a knife, using odd contraptions to put on socks, by responding to them with wordless, easy-to-understand reaction clips in which he would do the same task in a much more straightforward manner. He peels the banana, he puts on a pair of socks, and almost always he punctuates his gags with the video equipment of a duh punchline, extending his arms as if to say voila, and offering an expressive roll of the eyes or shake of the head. With 65.6 million followers on TikTok and counting, 65.6 million.
That's insane.
If he continues acquiring followers at this current rate or near it, he will become the most followed creator on the platform. Charlie D'Amelio, the 17-year-old famous chick she's like, I'm just old enough to have no idea who that is.
Mm-hmm.
She has 116 million followers.
Seems like a lot. I don't feel like anybody under the age of 18 should have 116 million followers.
Bro, that's too much.
Don't think they can handle that.
That's
fame.
too much. Look at what happened to Britney. 17 years old, 116 million followers. Jesus. So, Mr. Lame, back to the article. It's my face and expressions which make people laugh, Mr. Lame said in an interview on Wednesday, a national holiday celebrating the birth of the Italian Republic. His muted reactions, he said, are a, quote, global language.
That is one really interesting thing about him is that if you watch his videos, like he is Italian. I have no idea how much. I guess he's Senegalese, lives in Italy. I don't know how
He's
much
Italian though.
English he knows, but he doesn't speak any language in the videos. He just does a thing, he uses the global language of just like his expressions to like make fun of something. So that means he, unlike Charlie D'Amelio, like I feel like his content could literally be taken in by anybody in the entire world. I wouldn't be surprised if he becomes the biggest creator.
It says celebrities and other influential people are certainly taking notice of his rise. Mark Zuckerberg, the chief executive of Facebook, commented a thumbs up emoji on one of Mr. Lame's recent Instagram posts. On May 19th, Mr. Lame appeared with Alessandro Del Piero, the legendary soccer player of his beloved Juventus.
That was just
Juventus?
Juventus.
Damn it. Team. Top influencers have reached out, inviting Mr. Lame to collaborate.
Yeah, he collaborated with Paulo Dybala, another Juventus player.
He is steadily making money, but has not made enough to realize his dream of buying his mother a house. Maybe, he said, in the future.
Yeah, I don't think I'll have a problem with that soon.
I'm Ross Bolen. Bolen News. No, I don't, I don't know how he doesn't already have enough money to buy his mother a house. Is there a particular house he's got his eyes on? Because, like, you know, for example, in Snatch, it was good enough to just get a periwinkle blue camper for Brad Pitt's mom.
I haven't seen Snatch.
Sorry, Jared. And everybody else that hasn't seen Snatch, good movie. But, yeah, so if you haven't watched any of Mr. Lame's videos, they're very simple. And it's almost hilarious to me that, like, the New York Times, this is a much longer piece if you want to go read the whole thing on the New York Times. Again, the headline is, a former factory worker in Italy has become the fastest growing content creator on TikTok. Them trying to analyze it down to its core, like, because it's all natural growth, right? It's all organic. He didn't pay for ads. He didn't buy anything. You can't, like, really explain that. Like, you and I can't sit here and be like, because I don't think this dude's that funny. Like, to me.
No, yeah.
Right? To you either. I don't think.
I don't follow him because I don't necessarily find his shtick. It gets old. It gets really old.
The first time you find his account, you kind of watch one or two and you go, okay. And then you move on. But, like, to be one of the biggest social media influencers in the world now, off just that one shtick.
He is extremely mono-shticular.
Is crazy, though.
Yeah.
Like, that's an insane... Like, you're talking about... He could create generational wealth with that following, Jerry.
Yes. And now, I'll say this. If you're somebody who goes, man, I think I'm really funny and I want to make a TikTok, I just don't know what to do, I think what you can learn from both KB and from other creators...
Is it KB?
I have no idea.
I've
never actually heard it said. Is this. I would say two things. Number one, pick a niche. Pick a very specific niche that you can do a lot of stuff with.
And that you're passionate about.
Or that you think, well, yeah, you need to be passionate about it.
You have to care.
Even
if you're like, this has so much potential, but like, if you don't care at the end of the day, it won't be worth it because you'll hate yourself and it.
Like fraternity blogging.
Yeah.
But the second thing is stitching in duets.
Oh, God.
Do at least 50% of the work for you for your video. It is TikTok. The reason why TikTok is what it is because of stitching and duets. If you are good enough at curating really, really good content that people want to watch and you can enhance that content with your commentary, you can be a 100,000 plus follower TikToker. This has been J-Bone's TikTok News.
Boom. How about that? And that was insane headlines of the day. If you know anything about me, very likely that you know my two dogs, Bruce and Bella, that are in the studio with us here today, as they often are. I love them like family, want them taken care of, and that's why I love our sponsor, Jinx, who does take care of all their food and treats and their official food and treat provider of all Bolen Media dogs, including Jared's awesome dog, Millie. Look, it's pretty simple. Our modern dogs do more sleeping and lounging than hunting or working, and to keep our pups happy and healthy, most modern kibble falls short on the nutrition dogs need. Real, quality ingredients without the added fillers. Dog parents, meet Jinx, the internet's fastest growing dog wellness brand. Your dog's new favorite kibble treats and dental chews with recipes proven to support digestion, immunity, and heart health. It's awesome. We've got 2 toy Aussies, a 90-pound Doberman, a Cavalier Pomeranian, and an Aussie Doodle, all loving Jinx. All their products are great. Their food's phenomenal. Jared's dog Millie used to be sort of a hesitant eater, didn't really care much for mealtime. Now all over the Jinx.
Loves Jinx.
One of my dogs, Harv, he lays down to eat his big bowl of Jinx every night for dinner and enjoys it. He like gets into a comfortable lounge position because that's how much he enjoys it. Yeah. Try Jinx, get 40% off your first subscription at thinkjinx.com/RBP. Your dog deserves a cleaner kibble designed for modern doghood that they actually want to eat, and you can feel good about feeding them. Your dogs will love it or your money back. What are you waiting for? Get 40% off. thinkjinx.com/RBP. That's thinkjinx.com/RBP to support our podcast and your fur family at the same time.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like what you need to do, in my opinion, switch over to Jinx because number one, it's a subscription service. You don't have to ever worry about, oh my god, I'm running low on dog
out of food. Nope. New food's coming, baby.
And it's very, very, very good. I've never eaten it, but my dog has, and she literally. When we were switching her over from foods onto Jinx, you've eaten it.
I've eaten it, Jared.
We had to do, you ease when you're switching dog foods. You like ease them into it. You like do a bowl half and half, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
Millie would eat around the old food and only eat the Jinx out of the bowl
Yeah,
while
right,
we were switching foods.
Yeah, no need for that half and half shit. Hit me with the Jinx, baby.
Dogs love it, baby.
Yeah, they do. thinkjinx.com/RBP. Support the pod, support your dogs. Win, 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 win. 40% off. It's time for J-Bone's surprise segment.
Yeah, Ross doesn't know what I'm doing here.
Yeah, I don't know what Jared's doing, but he's doing a segment.
Ross, is it fair to say that you know next to nothing about Formula One?
That would be a very fair assessment, yes.
Okay, so I thought it would be fun for me, some of the other Formula One fan listenings,
Okay.
to try and guess 4 famous Formula One drivers' names solely based on a picture of them and a very short bio.
Okay.
Now, you have the pictures pulled up?
Yes.
Okay, so driver 1 is a 23-year-old who drives for Ferrari and looks like he should be in a boy band. Would you agree with that statement?
Yeah. His eyes are a little off-center, but yeah. Does he have a lazy eye?
No. He does not.
Okay.
What do you think his name is?
Juan Pablo Esteban.
So you think he's from Spain?
Yeah.
That is Charles Leclerc, who is from Monaco.
I feel like I was close. Okay.
Juan Pablo Esteban.
Okay.
Driver 2 is a 21-year-old who drives for McLaren and whose mother is Belgian. Okay, so, this could be some Belgian in there.
Timote Buenos noches. Is that not it?
His name is Lando Norris.
I was close too.
He kind of does look like a Timote, though. I will say that.
Timote. Okay.
He looks very Timote-esque.
Okay.
That was a good call.
Look at this fucking guy, the next one. Holy shit, look at this fucking guy.
Driver 3 is a 32-year-old who also drives for McLaren and who many women consider to be the hottest driver.
It just looks goofy in this picture, that I think, man. Kind of looks like Earthworm Jim. Okay, what do I think this guy's name is? Zach Snuffleupagus. They always have crazy ass names.
They do. It's a branding play.
What is his name?
Daniel Ricciardo from Australia.
He's Australian. Okay.
Would you not have guessed him to be Australian by looking at him?
No, he kind of looks like a doofus American.
He kind of does. There's no Americans in Formula One though, sadly.
Oh, sad, mate.
If there were, there would be a lot more fans.
And much less enjoyable names.
Fun fact, there's 2 Canadians in Formula One, but no Americans.
How about that? Hun?
And lastly, last here, driver 4.
Jesus God.
Is a 31-year-old.
Holy shit, he looks like an alcoholic racist.
A 31-year-old who drives for Mercedes and loves coming in second place.
He loves coming in second place? Oh, this is... This is Todd Benson right here. That's Todd. Fucking Todd's angry.
He's from Finland. His name is Valtteri Bottas.
Holy shit. Really?
Is that Todd Benson?
Should have been in that recent Will Ferrell movie. Did you watch that one?
Which one?
He played like a Finnish man and did like a whole movie with Rachel McAdams.
Oh, no, I did not see that one.
Yeah, it was all right.
Well, that was that was Jared's surprise segment. Ross names famous Formula One drivers. And
I had a blast.
Gets all their names completely correct.
I had a blast, Jared. Thank you.
You'll be able to find this video from this segment that I make at Formula Bone on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. I'm way bigger on TikTok than anywhere else. Right about to hit 30K.
I think you're bigger on TikTok than any of us anywhere now.
Except for RBP on TikTok. That's the biggest.
Oh, good for us.
I know, right?
Please clap.
But yeah, please clap.
Please clap.
I learned a lot, Jared. Thank you. Thank you. This episode is brought to you by Four Sigmatic, a wellness company that is well known for its delicious mushroom coffee, which Jared and I have been drinking. And it's phenomenal. It's real, organic, fair trade, single origin, Arabica?
Arabica?
Arabica coffee with lion's mane mushroom for productivity and chaga mushroom for immune support. Chaga. It's pretty rare. Like, don't get me wrong. I love me some coffee. When I drink coffee, I typically feel a little bit energized and a little bit of a jolt afterwards, right?
That's good.
It's what you're going for. It's what everybody's going for. But it's pretty rare that I drink coffee and genuinely feel better afterward, like throughout the day. You know how when you have like a smoothie or something, it just kind of carries with you? You feel better, right? Because your body's running on a bunch of good stuff.
That's how I am with poke.
That's how I've been with this. I've had it a few times now, and it's genuinely phenomenal. We've been starting our day with it at Bolen Media with Four Sigmatic's ground mushroom coffee with lion's mane instead of regular coffee. Love how it helps us stay focused. We can get shit done. It's amazing. Feel an awesome uptick, but without any like horrific crash, basically.
Yeah, this stuff is very good. A lot of people are like, wait, is it just mushroom powder flavored like coffee? No, there's coffee, and then they add in mushroom as well for the benefits of that.
Yeah, it's amazing. All their products at Four Sigmatic are organic, vegan, gluten-free. Every single batch is third-party lab tested to ensure its purity and safety, so you know you're getting the highest quality coffee and mushrooms possible. And again, it doesn't taste like mushrooms.
Not at all. Not even. It tastes like coffee. Delicious coffee.
Tastes like delicious coffee, like the coffee you love. It brews dark and nutty. Tastes incredible. Over 20,000 5-star reviews. Best of all, Four Sigmatic backs their products with a 100% money-back guarantee. Love every sip or get your money back. We've worked out an exclusive offer with Four Sigmatic on their best-selling mushroom coffee just for the RBP gang. Get up to 40% off, plus free shipping on mushroom coffee bundles. To claim this deal, you must go to foursigmatic.com/RBP. Only for RBP gang. Only for the Ross Bolen podcast listeners. Not available on their regular website. Save up to 40%. Get free shipping. Go right now to foursigmatic.com/RBP. Fuel your productivity and creativity with some delicious mushroom coffee.
Also, while you're there, you should probably pick up some of their plant-based protein powders.
So we've had a ton of calls coming into 888-WR-BOLEN lately. And we talked about how that hotline is going to be exclusively for Patreon moving forward, sans a couple of episodes here or there where I feel like plugging one in for a specific reason, right? So if you're calling the hotline, if you love the hotline call segment, and so many people do, they've been requesting more hotline calls. We want to hear more hotline calls. What happened to the hotline calls? Why aren't there any hotline calls? Where's the hotline call extravaganza? It's on patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast. And I wanted to give you a final taste of what you'll be missing on Patreon if you don't join us there and support the podcast and get the extra ad-free Friday episodes and hear the hotline calls as often as we'll play them there. One last time into the fray.
And when you say
dear boys, or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
What was that? What were we doing last night on Twitter, by the way? We were like doing some weird mining.
I don't know. We were saying, using strange accents in text form.
But when you say ad-free Friday episodes, you don't mean we put out the episode from the week.
Oh, no. It's a brand new, exclusive, original episode. All new content. Just there's no advertising in it. It's brought to you by you, our supporters on Patreon, who are the backbone of this entire company, podcast, and operation. So, got a few calls to play for you today. Again, to sort of say a final farewell to the last time we'll ever play hotline calls in bulk anywhere except patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast, because we had a few good ones. Wanted to get you motivated, show you what you'll be missing on Patreon. Jared, play the first one.
What's up, Ross? J-Bone. This is Snack from Baltimore. Quick question for you. Going back to the topic of everyone out here taking chops and going to Mook Island, I have another unconventional way to consume tobacco I experienced. About 2 years ago, me and some buddies were out in Europe on a vacation. We ran into these two girls from Iceland. We were talking to them for a little bit, and then one of them pulls out what looks like a dip can and proceeds to pour some on her hand and snort a line of it. Me and my buddies were all kind of in awe and amazement, and she sees her looks and she goes, "Oh, it's Nuftabakken," which of course is Icelandic for nose tobacco. So obviously me and my buddies proceeded to spend all night snorting Icelandic nose tobacco, and then the next week just blowing black mucus. So, yeah, what are your thoughts on Icelandic nose tobacco as a form of tobacco consumption? All right, peace.
Okay, first of all, it's Mookie Island, not Mook Island, you noob. I had no idea girls from Iceland threw down like this. I'll be watching like an old-timey movie or like Boardwalk Empire every once in a while, and somebody will throw down a little snuff, like they'll snort it, because that was a thing. So I was aware that was like a thing, but like I thought everyone universally just stopped doing that, you know, in the 20s, because like he said on his call, you blow black boogers for like, you know, the rest of your life. And it just sounds incredibly unappetizing.
Why would you snort tobacco?
Look,
like,
snorting anything is incredibly unenjoyable. Does it look sort of cool? It hurts. Most of it hurts. Most things you can snort hurt. I've snorted lots of different stuff, kids.
Yeah, I snorted a caffeine pill once. It hurt.
Yeah.
I snorted.
Oh, God. See, that's a perfect example. You think that, or like for people who snort Adderall, that shit fucking burns, dude, and it hurts, and it's bad for you, and stop it. You stop it. I know you're listening right now. You stop it.
I snorted a line of Country Time lemonade powder. I've said it many times.
Yeah, see?
That hurt
like,
the most.
That's just not the way you want to take things into the body. So turns out the girls in Iceland are snorting tobacco like it's cocaine. It's Nustobacco. And they're blowing black mucus all over the place, and just freaking disgusting. But I bet they're hot. Just saying.
What else is there to do
Think
in
about
Iceland?
Icelandic chicks, like,
You're going to say Bjork?
what do you think about? You think about snorting Nustobacco, being hot and luring you into some kind of a hostile situation where they pluck your organs from your body, right? Shouts to Iceland. You also think of
Bjork.
the villains in Mighty Ducks 2,
And Bjork.
who we defeated, and Bjork. Next call.
Yo, Ross, what's going on with you, man? This is Matt from Indiana. Yo, Jared, J-Bone, what's good with you? Yo, I got a trash or not trash for you. All right, so I moved to Colorado about 3 years ago, lived in the Denver area, and, dude, it was weird. I'd go out on dates with girls I'd meet at, at the bar, online, through friends. It seemed every one of them would go great for a few dates. Then all of a sudden they start bringing out their horoscopes. And then next thing you know, it was rocks and crystals and then aligning my chakra. And dude, I had so many girls just not want to go out with me because apparently our horoscopes or rocks weren't aligned and tarot card this and nonsense that. I want to get your thoughts on that. I mean, I know I'm a Cancer and I could care less what the hell that means. The stars were somewhere when I was born. Cool. That doesn't mean that we can't have a good time together. So I want to get your guys' opinion on if you think this is a real thing or not, because it was too much hippie for me and I was not a fan. They're crazy, but some of them are damn hot, but they're crazy, man. So give me your opinion on that. And then also I got one thing I want from you guys. We need more soundboard effects. So I say you guys do a soundboard bit of the month that you keep adding because I enjoy them. So, hey, Ross Bolen Podcast, love it, boys. Gang, gang, gang. And back to you, Ross.
The ultimate Gemini has arrived. I wasn't supposed to make it past 25. Okay, so I've talked to a lot of people over the years from the inception of this show about energy healing and crystals and all this different horoscope stuff. We used to have a coworker who was so into the horoscope stuff. I used to give her shit all the time, make fun of her. And I always thought it was horse hooey. Big time bullshit. Where I was just like, yeah, sure, whatever. But like, it was one of those things where, not necessarily that I hated it. Like, it is what it is, but I didn't want anything to do with it. I was just like, this isn't for me. Sorry. And then I kind of hit this point in my life where my ego was able to take a little bit more of a back seat, and I was a little more open to trying different stuff to help heal me because I was going through so much in 2020 in particular. And my now girlfriend, when I met her, is one of these people he's describing. One of these crystal-carrying crazies who also happens to be incredibly attractive, who you're just like, not long after we originally met, she was getting into all this, and it was not a situation where I was like, oh, here we go again. I was just like, yeah, okay. Like, I could get with this shit, which is why, if you've been listening to the show for a long time, I ended up going to, like, an energy shaman.
Shouts to Bart.
Yeah, shouts to Bart, the energy shaman. And, like, got my energy healed up a few times, actually. And I went and got a chakra, like, healing massage and all this different shit. And I've given a lot more credence to that world. And I genuinely believe in this shit now. And not in the way that you're thinking right now, if you're not one of these people, and if you're more like I used to be, where you're making fun of it and you think it's stupid. Because it's as real as you need it to be or want it to be in your own head. There's not some version of it that's right for everybody. But to acknowledge that there is energy in the universe and that it can be manipulated positively, negatively, and that it impacts things, that's not crazy to me anymore. There are levels to that. Certain shit that I'm still like, with Bart, like some shit will come out of his mouth where I'm like, But overall, you don't have to run away from the really hot crystal crazies. These are like the coolest people in the world. You need to sit tight.
And I think it's no secret.
Give it a chance.
It's no secret to Ross that I am still where he used to be, and I still don't believe in any of it and think it's all horse hooey.
Yeah. Well, by and large, because it's like, I still think the horoscope shit is not for me. Like, the horoscope thing, I'll read it and I'm like, eh. But it's that there's takeaways from all of it. And it's more of like a way to feed your spirituality and your day-to-day outlook than anything else. Yeah. It's like the way people utilize religion. It's the same type of deal. They can utilize it. People utilize this to give themselves more positivity and more purpose and more of a framework for the world, right? So
like, you can believe in God and be a Christian and not believe every single story in the Bible that is said to be true.
Absolutely.
So it's kind of like that, right?
Absolutely.
Just because somebody says they believe in astrology doesn't mean they believe all this crazy stuff.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah. So it's like I get down with this now in general, and I don't really judge people how far they go with it. And like the people who still believe all the calendar shit, and I'm gonna even tell you, like with the moon stuff, my girlfriend started explaining some of it to me, where she's like, she has a harder time around full moons and stuff like that. And when she first told me this when we met, over a year ago, I was like, right. But now that she tracks it, so I'm semi-aware of it, and I know when the new moon is coming and shit like that, I'll notice stuff with me where I'm like, oh, fuck. And I don't know if it's just because I know now or if that's an actual pattern or what. I'm not deep enough into the weird life yet, but I'm getting there. So.
Now, I'll say this.
Yeah.
Some of the girls he's talking about may be the ones who go, hey, I get along with you really well. Like, I think you're a cool guy, but you're a Virgo and I'm a Libra and it's just not going to work out. That is the biggest, that's just discrimination.
Well, that's also horse shit.
Yeah,
that's insane. That's not how it works.
There are plenty of people like that out there.
Yeah, okay, when I say that's horse shit, maybe that's the way some people got to operate and roll. I don't know. It is what it is.
But it's very rude.
But I do know this, Jared, we will get more soundboard effects. Jared and I have come up with several different ideas already for new soundboard effects to add, so I promise you, maybe we'll debut one on Patreon this week. You want to?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do a Jared Sound of the Week on Patreon this week. So hit patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast again for all of the hotline calls moving forward, okay? We're going to play one more. I'll respond to it very quickly, and then we got to roll because I got to do oysters, clams, and cockles after this. But here is the final call.
Oh, shit. Am I on? All right. Look, I just want to say, all right, first of all, this is Gage from STL, shout out Missouri, let's go boys. I was trying to say, I got a trash or not trash, and a compliment for Jerry. That boy is scrumptious, looking scrumptious all the time. Those Peloton rides are working, you're looking good, boy. My main question is, though, I got a trash or not trash. All right, I work for a snow cone company. I work for Kona Ice, come get your snow cones. If you live in St. Louis and you ever see a Kona truck, you can come up, mention RBP, I'll sling you a free cone, fuck yeah. But we work a lot of fairs, all right? We do a lot of birthday parties and stuff. Is it trash that our boss does not give us gas money for driving down to some fairs that are about an hour away? Because I just drove to Washington, Missouri. Not like you guys have ever been here, because fuck that. But, it's an hour away. That is a good little drive. And he yells, oh, sorry. I was flashing, dude. And my boss yells at me for clocking in while I'm driving down there. And, I'm thinking, suck my titty taint, bro. I got to fill up this tank. I got to get this guap. But, yeah. Ross, you're scrumptious, but like Jared's a full course meal. That man's a king, and I just want him to run the pod. That's all. Good night. Good night, my boy.
Was that you? Did you use a voice modulator? Did you call in? Nobody's ever sucked me that hard on the podcast hotline before.
I mean, this dude.
He wants Jared to run the pod. He said I'm a snack and he's a full course meal, apparently.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Back to you, Jared.
Thanks, Ross.
You're welcome.
Thank you for calling in. Best call we've ever had. I think that I am a king. Thank you. And I didn't realize that until you told me that. So I'm gonna.
You awakened the king within you.
If I'm ever in St. Louis, I will be stopping by Kona Ice and mentioning RBP and getting a free snow cone.
Free snow cone. His boss doesn't pay him for gas, though, on over hour-long drives, which, long story short, yeah, that is trash because of the level of employment you're at. No offense meant, all due respect, but like if he's making you drive more than an hour, he needs to make up for that financially. That could be quite an offset, like gas money-wise, man. That's just common fucking sense.
I mean, if you're driving an hour and using an hour's worth of gas, how much gas is that? That's probably like $10 a gas, right?
It's enough for him to need to pay for your gas, for sure.
And also, you're on the clock. You would not be driving down to Washington shithole, Missouri, if you were not working.
No.
You know?
No.
Is he like
right, it's not
towing?
as if I'm telling you, like, go drop this off, and it's right by your house, like, and you're gonna be going home right after, then no, I'm not gonna pay you for gas. If I'm telling you drive an hour out of your way to go do business related shit, then come back, I need to pay for that gas.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Also, if he's towing the trailer with the ice, like, of course you have to pay for that shit.
Gas is just burning, man. It's a lot of heavy load, and
They should get a
rolling
Tesla.
and such. They should. No gas. Plug her in. Pay for the electricity.
Back to you, Jared.
So I'm going to run the pod here and close us out.
Thank you, Jared.
Back to you, Jared.
Don't interrupt me.
Wow. That
Back
guy
to you,
really
Jared.
gave you... Okay.
Thank you guys for being here today. I'm Jared Borislow. This has been the Jared Borislow Experience. I'm also here with Ross. Follow him at Jared Borislow on Twitter.
Wow. But seriously, go to patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast. Thank you all for calling the hotline, 888-WR-BOLEN. Get the calls in. Jared is going to run the show henceforth, so this has been real, though. Next week, the pod will be retitled The Jared Borislow Experience, and we'll just start talking about hardcore hallucinogens and lifting heavy weights. So when the devil wants to dance with you, you better say never, because a dance with the devil might last you forever.